All right. Well, you can read it right there. We supposed to feel bad?
I
Deshaun Watson.
don't
I mean,
know.
Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles. I feel like this is one of those situations where it's not. It's less about the injury, more about how people react to the injury, right?
Yeah, but man, that injury, non-contact too, of all things. So,
Yeah. Let's show it here, and you can just
pop.
see the pop in the calf. Yeah. And then when that
And
happens,
once you and when you yeah, when you feel it, that's it.
yeah, that's
And
just
it's one of those things where it's like with the Achilles and stuff like that, man. It's just like how you're using it, how you're torquing your body in a moment. It's one of those things of like if it's ready to go, it's gonna go.
yeah.
That's like the rule of it. If it pops, it pops. You can't do anything about it.
My rule of thumb is to never do anything physically active. That's the only way I stay safe. I mean, this is just one of those situations where, I mean, yay, like,
I mean, they lose either way, right?
yeah,
Because with even if he was healthy, he wasn't playing all that well. A lot of people were just saying bench him, but it's like, okay, cool. You can bench him. You're still paying him the 74.9 or whatever it is million, basically 75 million on average for this season, whether he's benched, he's injured, he's sick, whatever. He's still
yeah,
getting that paid. It's fully
fully
guaranteed,
guaranteed.
bro.
I mean, this year his numbers, 1,150 yards passing, which is good for 24th. 5 touchdowns, which is tied 25th. 3 picks, which is tied 47th. And a QBR of a whopping 23.4, which is 31st in the league. Like, they were throwing money down the toilet, basically. This
Yeah.
is one of those situations where the sunk cost fallacy was so strong that I mean, there's a sunk cost fallacy, but at a certain point, like the number just gets so ridiculous. I mean, we can show. I mean, Pat McAfee talked about it on his show. You can see Deshaun Watson with the
Oh, 73, about 73 million.
yeah. So Watson's cap hit in 2025, 73 million, no matter what. His cap hit in 2026, 73 million, no matter what. And this is after they've already converted some of his salary to signing bonus, right?
For that first season. So the first season was like when he was coming in off of the court rulings and stuff like that. So there was, and I know people don't like him for that, and hey, that's fair. I'm not one to say what you can and can do about him. Regardless, that first season, all of it went into his signing bonus. Literally, like his whole first season salary, they just converted it to a signing bonus because he was like, I'm gonna get all my money some way somehow,
And at the
and he
time,
did.
they were like, "Oh, this is such a savvy financial move." And
In terms of the first, now if he played like he did in Houston and stuff like that, but after all of those ACL, like now he has two ACL tears or one Achilles, one ACL, or ACL tear. I think it's ACL. So ACL tears. You're not gonna have the same player. I don't
no,
know if it's in the same leg or not. I think it's a different leg this time, but even still, like yeah,
that's a lot of reconstruction you got to do in your legs, and you need those to play football.
yeah. I think with this one, since he's getting paid no matter what, I think you need to just take the long recovery with him. There's no point in trying to force him out there. It's not like you're trying to recoup all that money. You can't do anything about it. It's fully guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that won that was the Texans with all they got.
And I'm all about having people get full guarantee. I mean, this is the thing about full guarantee contracts. I do want them for football players because there is a little bit of shystiness that comes from the owners and stuff with these deals, especially from running backs. But this is just one of those things about doing fully guaranteed contracts. It sometimes it doesn't work out. Even in the MLB, it don't work out sometimes, and they give big contracts too. So I mean, they're used to it over there, but like over here, like with the NFL, they're gonna look at this with like, they're gonna look at this on like a petri dish and look at the magnifying glass and be like, you know what, maybe we don't need to give these players fully and I hate that for the players though, because of the Deshaun Watson situation, because you have to see it from multiple angles, not just oh wow, we hate him because of his past court stuff, which, hey, that's fair, but like, one, like Deshaun didn't make the Browns trade 2 first round picks and all
Three.
that. Deshaun, if anything, Deshaun got his agent to say, "Hey, can we get like a fully guaranteed contract at the time?" Which technically,
Kirk
this
Cousins
is the
already.
cheapest. It's
Kirk
not the
Cousins.
cheapest. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kirk Cousins had a fully guaranteed contract as well, but I just think that the
But he was
numbers.
playing well.
He was
No one says
playing.
anything. No one says anything about a fully guaranteed contract until that player starts playing just wrong for one play. Like even on the boat when
Yeah,
the Cowboys were playing,
you
I
just
still remember. Like this is when the Cowboys were facing the Giants and they won. But when they were losing, there was someone like, we paid, like, he said, 60 million, Dak, 60 million. Like, this man had so many drinks, 60 million. So, like, someone's saying, 73 million, Deshaun, 73 million.
I mean, you can tell what the fans have to say. I mean, we could flip it over um, to this, and you can see. This is him getting like I think this
Yeah,
is him
because
coming out.
they're just blaming it. Because it's like, yes, don't get it twisted. He needs to take part of the blame, but like, at the same time, your organization made this decision.
Yeah, I mean,
Just saying.
we gotta throw blame where the blame is due as well too. Like you said, the organization didn't have to trade away their entire future
I
for
think
one guy.
I'm checking on the side here. I think they have a first round pick this upcoming off season, if I'm
Might be the
not
first one.
mistaken. Yeah, they got one right now. They have the number 3 overall pick. So their first one. So basically, that they're going to at the end of the day. I think, what does this injury mean for Deshaun Watson and the team? I don't think it's the end of a career for Deshaun Watson. I think he can still play. Granted, I don't know if that's going to be in a backup role after this contract plays out, because the contract is he's going to get paid. You can't stop it. He's going to get paid that money. But it could also be even an early end for his career if he doesn't come back from this injury and stuff like that too. Granted, you're going to get all this money, but like now you're not playing the game that you love.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
And then there are people that are like, I don't give a shit. He's a piece of shit kind of thing too.
Right. But Browns fans, your team's still under contract with them for another, like, for this year and next year. So next year you're not going to be able to build, or over this upcoming offseason. You're just be excited for the draft. Don't be excited for free agency is all I have to say.
And we were talking about, this is one of those situations where it means more, like the more of the conversation is around people's reactions to this as opposed to anything. But that now if you're a Browns fan, you got a guy like Jameis Winston coming in, and you're gonna have fun at least, I think, right? Like that's, I mean, if first off, speaking to the character of Jameis, hilarious man. Anytime you see any sort of anytime he's got a microphone in his hand, he was speaking a little bit. We won't show the clip here, but he was speaking on the situation, and I mean, to me, it kind of came off as a class act. He was defending his colleague. I mean, that can be read in multiple ways. But at least that's him. It's not, I don't think it's him trying to sweep anything under the rug. It's just trying to acknowledge the situation the most professional way you can. But now that, if you're a Browns fan, how do you feel with Jameis coming in?
I think it's either Jameis or who is it, DTR as well, because the DTR did get to play a little bit, and he got some legs because he was running. He kept on tricking the defense. I think they're gonna try to work DTR more, because at the very least, what Jameis Winston's going to give to your team. I'm not saying he's capped. That's not my thing. I feel like they're gonna give DTR because he's young. I think it's his second year on the team. So I think they're going to give him a chance to start for the rest of the season with Jameis backing him up. And then if all else fails, flip it. You got Jameis, so Jameis Winston, he'll give you that air raid football. He's not going to be running the ball like that, but he will throw the ball where it needs to be. But he's smart, analytical in where he does. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to like take the Browns to, granted, I'm here for the ride if they somehow pull out a playoff berth somehow. But I don't know with how they're playing, and especially now they're 1-6. That's hard to come back from. Like, you're basically saying you gotta come back with like 6 straight wins to get over the 500 mark. So
yeah, and that's very unlikely. I mean, in terms of his receiving targets, David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy, maybe Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman. Not
they got some decent.
They got
at least 2
but
targets.
Yeah, and it's not
Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's back, so
Nick Chubb
he played.
Yeah, and so if you're a Browns fan, I mean, the best you can do of a bad situation
Tank.
is just have fun.
That's the
Yeah.
best. Have fun, and hopefully your team tanks to keep you in the top few. Because right now on Tankathon anyway, you are number 3 below New England and Carolina respectively. In terms of if the draft were to happen today, so maybe tank, but teams don't tank. They never tank, never. Um,
But I mean, but
oh,
the biggest tragedy if you're a Browns fan is just how many years of like solid defenses you've had. Like this defensive line: Miles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, Zadarius Smith, and they got guys like Jordan Hicks, Denzel Ward.
yep.
Like they got so many good players. Um,
I wouldn't be surprised if trades were going to start happening. I think, especially with that injury, I think it's time to, in my opinion, especially since you don't have a lot of money, maybe it might be time to trade Miles Garrett. But that's just me because I don't know if, unless you're going to get a rookie quarterback that you're instantly going to start over, well, not, they either will instantly start or you're going to start Jameis Winston or DTR. So I don't know if they're going to say, hey, let's work with DTR, but I don't think DTR is the answer for the Browns. I think they're going to go and look for a QB. Will that QB start over Deshaun Watson even when healthy? That's something that they have to deal with because, again, I think the tragedy started when they made that big deal with Deshaun Watson back then, a couple years back. So I don't know what else to say besides like, hey, Browns fans, it's going to be like a putrid 2 years. I think if not this season, then definitely the next, because I forget whose contracts are coming up soon. If not this year, I think it's time to start making trades, get a lot of picks, and then just kind of see how you can restructure. And I think you need to build through the draft these next like this for the next.
they
two
haven't been
drafts.
able to for a long time.
I know, like you need. I think y'all need picks. Miles Garrett is not going to be at tip top shape, especially like if you're going to say 2 years down the line when you don't have Deshaun Watson, right? So I'm not saying he won't be tip top shape. It's just one of the things like with age and stuff, and it's one of those like I think you need a trade. I mean, trade him to the Seahawks. Miles Garrett, I'll take him on the Seahawks
Yeah,
any day.
we'll give you a 5th round pick. It's a good deal, I promise. No,
I promise you.
we need
Seventh,
to. If we could, Miles Garrett is a fantastic player. If we could rob him,
third. I'll go third and maybe like a player, if you will.
But you guys got to cover most of his salary. Let's just
Facts.
All right,
Please and thank you.
please and thank you. And Miles Garrett, I mean, been in the league for roughly 7 years. Got drafted in 2017, so
He's in his prime.
he's in his prime. So he's going somewhere. But yeah, with that, we'll end on a little bit of a positive note. Then, thanks for joining us here at Miss Reps. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time.
Peace.